So today we're going to be talking about Justice League issue 25 as that relates to our Year of the Villain discussion that we've been talking about and having on this WackMatters YouTube channel. Note that we will be spoiling this issue and issues around this. We're going to be talking about the issue in a little bit of depth, talking about the story. So if you haven't read it yet and you intend to, make sure that you read it first because this is a spoiler alert. So unlike the Batman series that I read, the Scott Snyder run, I did a lot less preparation for this series of Justice League comics, also written by Scott Snyder, by the way. I read the Volume 1. I believe there's Volume 1, Volume 2, and there's a bunch of single issues to get us up to 25, which is the new release, which brings us to the Year of the Villain, The Offer. So we're jumping in at the end of one storyline and we're kind of spinning off into the actual Year of the Villain events. And so I knew some of kind of what was going on from reading Volume 1, but like I said, I didn't read Volume 2 or the single floppies, so I just didn't fully grasp what was going on. So the beginning of this book was very confusing to me with a lot of sixth dimension stuff with Superman, a lot of like evil versions of everybody. I don't know if it was like the Dark Realm, like Dark Knight's Metal. Like I don't know fully what happened here, but they're fighting a bunch of bad versions of themselves. Superman's trapped in the sixth dimension, which seems to be some kind of nightmare realm. Batman saves everybody. But basically what this spins off to is, as I said, Year of the Villain, the continuation of the Year of the Villain stuff that we saw, or kind of a prequel to the stuff that we saw for Year of the Villain. It's a little bit of more background of the stuff that we saw in Year of the Villain issue 1, which is kind of the groundwork for the entire Year of the Villain. But here we actually get some of the meat. Now, if you really want to hear the philosophical explanations of the kind of positions that are happening here, both the good guys and the bad guys, you can actually go check out the Socratic Circle podcast hosted by my friend Trevor, and he has an episode about Volume 1 of the Justice League. I believe it's called Philosophy, Satanism, and Comic Books, because what we're presented with here is that Lex Luthor is presenting his philosophical position and his idealist goals and the things that he's trying to accomplish, which are essentially Satanism as a philosophy. And then what we have from the good guys is essentially some form of secular humanism, which is, let's all work together, we can solve the problems. And that's kind of how we solve the problem that's from the first part of this issue. It's also how we get the team up for the second part of this issue. Lex Luthor is essentially sending out the offer, which is for all mankind, which is just to embrace selfishness, live for yourself, and stop fighting what you think are the evils within yourself, because evil is going to win out. The universe was meant to be evil. It leans towards chaos, and basically painting anyone fighting against the chaos, aka the Justice League and the good guys, as the villains. So he says, let's all just do what we are naturally supposed to be doing, which is living for self and embracing our own personal desires and doing what we want to do. And this becomes the Year of the Villain. So the people start revolting. They start, and by revolting, I mean rioting, doing what they want, stealing what they want. And that's kind of what Luthor was going for. So we actually get to see an explanation of the term Year of the Villain. And then we get to see the superheroes find out that Lex Luthor nuked himself at the top of the LexCorp Tower. And we know that there's all kinds of dangers that happen when the Source Wall broke. And like I said, I haven't read Volume 2. I don't know that stuff. I know from Dark Knight's Metal that the Source Wall broke. I read the totality, so I know that there's some crazy stuff happening in there. We don't fully know what's going on, but we do know that some kind of ancient god that was kept out by the Source Wall is now controlling or working with Luthor from the Year of the Villain. And we actually have this to look forward to. Now, I can't really speak to how much I enjoy the end of that previous storyline because I hadn't seen it. But I do like that we get the setup for the Year of the Villain in a more substantial way in this issue. I thought that was interesting. It wasn't a ton of new things, but it gave us a more in-depth, grounded, and story-rooted perspective for what the superheroes are going to be doing and what Lex Luthor's position in the story is going to be in the Year of the Villain. We also get, as I said, the explanation of the term Year of the Villain and what it means and what it's going to be implying for the rest of the series and tie-ins that are probably going to be happening all over the DC universe. But I feel like this was our full first introduction into Year of the Villain and the summer event, year-long event probably. And I thought that was cool. I thought it was good, and I'm interested to see what happens from here. The back of the book contains ads for Event Leviathan, something else that we're going to be covering here on WackMatters, and I'm looking forward to that, which is a 6-issue series about Leviathan, what he's doing, which, if my information is correct, we get the first issue of Event Leviathan 1 next week. So for the pull list next week, make sure that you're following us on social medias. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got a Reddit page now. We can update if the pull list changes, but next week, I think all that we're going to be talking about is the Event Leviathan #1. But anyway, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What did you think of Justice League issue 25? Did you get a chance to read it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Make sure to leave a comment below with what you thought or what you think of these videos, if you like them or if you dislike them. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this or you want to continue to follow our Year of the Villain event, make sure to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell, and you should be notified when we post new comic book content. I look forward to continue reading comic books with you guys soon. Thanks.